Hi, welcome to FitHer. I'm your host, Kristen Hislop, and this is where strong women share real stories, expert insight, and bold truths about health, fitness, and living fully, because your journey matters. Now, let's get into it. Today, I am super excited to have with us a whirlwind of a woman, Jessica Hauprich, who I really do think does it all. And sometimes maybe too much, but we'll get into that and we'll see how she manages it all. We're going to talk about kind of her health journey, but, we're going to tie some business stuff into that as well. And like I said, I'm really excited to start this conversation with you. We met before at a couple of different events, but then helped you with your journey to an Ironman finish line. So that was super exciting. But, you got to start someplace to be able to get to that Ironman journey. So tell us a little bit about your athletic background.
So growing up, I did like ballet and cheerleading, and I have 13 brothers, and I wasn't really expected to be doing the sports. I was kind of expected to fit in the girly role. And as I got older, I remember watching a documentary in the New York City Marathon and thinking it was cool, but thinking, I can't do that. And then when I became a mom, I was pushing my son with a stroller, and I would just run a little when no one was looking. And then I ended up doing like a walk run, essentially by accident. I wasn't planning on becoming a runner, and it got too cold to walk him in the park, and I got a treadmill, and I was like, I'm gonna try to run a mile. And then I did, and I was so surprised that I did a mile. The next day I did 2, and then I realized a 5K was 3.1 miles and not 5, and so I did my first 5K. And from there it just progressed, and I had, as a young mom, I had my twins. Was new into running, and then I had my twins. I was on bed rest that pregnancy, and I would see runners and just want to do that at some point. And then I started running after they were born, and then ran through my pregnancy with my last kid. And I did my first full marathon, Lake Placid Marathon. All 4 kids were under 5 years old.
I know. So how far apart are your kids?
3.5 years from the oldest to the youngest of 4 kids in 3.5 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with twins in the mix. Yeah. So people always say, I have kids, I can't work out. What's your response to that?
You have kids, you should work out. It's, for me, it makes me a better mom. It's, sets that tone for the family that health is a priority, which gives you longevity. I don't spend time on sick care. A lot of people spend time on sick care. And my dad, he was always, he taught me by example. He was always an athlete, and he got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And I've seen him fight for his health. To be an athlete with that. So for me, I value my health. I appreciate it. And by showing my kids that, they learn that lesson too.
So as they've been growing up, how have you balanced that on like a daily basis? How do you get workouts in?
It's all about like balancing the priorities, like knowing, every day has to have intention. If I'm training for something, maybe some days my workout is going to be something else is going to shift, but it's about just managing the priorities early, getting a lot of early runs, and having friends to do it for accountability is a big part. Is, someone who will get up at 5 a.m. with you and log some miles, and you get to spend time with your friends, invest in your health, and then you're happier for the rest of the day.
Right. Do you literally like schedule, like you've got meetings and you've got showings, you have things that you're doing as a real estate agent now. Do you schedule in your workouts like that?
Yeah, I have to schedule them. And just like anything, if you want to get it done, it has to be a priority that day, and you get it done. And I like to do them early if I can, because then it's going to get done, but it has to be a priority.
It does. Do you have a lot of people say to you, how do you do it all?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. And do you have people that when you say you suggest coming and doing a run, they say, I'm too busy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your response to that?
I say, I make time for it because it's important to me. I don't watch Netflix. I don't watch TV. There's a lot of things I don't do so that I can do the things that I want to do. So sometimes you have to cut in the things that maybe aren't as important to make time for the things that are.
Yeah. Yeah. I and this, like I tend to think like a lot of people don't prioritize their health enough. You've seen it with your dad, right? The importance of it. How do you think we can better talk to people to make sure they prioritize their health?
I think just encouraging them to like find a network, find people to do it with, and just making it intentional to know that there is results from it, like that there's a reason why. Like you have to know the why of why you're doing it.
So what's your why?
My why is, for me, I think that investing in my health, my safety, those things will produce like a longer, healthier, happier life. So I think by doing those things, then I know that my why is a longer, happier life, more time with my family and friends. I'm better for my business. I'm better for every person I show up for if I prioritize my health. If I don't, then I'm going to not be feeling good. I'm going to be going to the doctors. I'm going to be spending that time otherwise.
Right.
So I feel like I have a lot of really healthy relationships because I am a social exerciser. And so my quality of life is really good.
It's huge.
Yeah. So it's like find your people and, just start small too.
Well, and I think you're leading right into what you've now created at I Run Local. So talk about that.
Yeah, that was very surprising. I've always I met Jamie and Anthony, the owners of I Run, over a decade ago as a young mom, and I ran with a friend for years that she and I would just meet up there at the store, and there was really no one else. And then they started a group there, but it wasn't super frequent and no one really knew about it that much.
Right.
And then I just started promoting it on social media a little bit more, letting people know about it and sharing it. And then more people started coming up, but we've just set a tone that come where you're at. It's conversational. It's fun. It's your healthy happy hour is what I call it.
Yeah.
And so everyone's just so warm and inviting to each other that, like especially your Thursdays. I'm surprised sometimes we have more than 20 people sometimes at a Thursday morning, 6 a.m. And then we go to like Uncommon Grounds after and we take up like 4 tables in there. And it's so cool that, our social life is so fulfilling before we even go to work.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And it is that community, right? So how important do you feel that is? And partially for you, that's great too, because that dovetails on your business, but just overall, like what you're feeling around that building of a community and the importance of it.
Oh, I feel like it's everything. It's having those people that have like-minded interests that are, care about you and support you. Those people are not just people I run with. Those are people that are friends that have become some of my best friends throughout my life. These friendships are so real and so genuine that they're there for you. You support them, whether things are going good or bad, whether it's training or life, just having that. And then people like that. And especially this day and age when we're so connected to our phones, so many people, for moms I talk to, for one, like a lot of moms, when the kids are younger, you're doing sports together and you're hanging out, and then you lose that circle. And then where do you make friends? Or people, they're not into the downtown scene or a party scene, and where do you make friends? Say you get relocated. You go to like a run club, and it's a way to meet people and form friendships. It's a very inviting community. Yeah.
And I also I wonder how much do you see with your kids at the age they are of even that. I've noticed this year the no phone.
Yeah.
What a difference in the kids. They're actually talking to each other now. So I feel like even the kids have gotten somewhat isolated. Do you see that? And what do you do with your kids to make sure they have their communities?
Yeah, I think them, the same thing, encouraging it. I've noticed the conversations when it started wow, we all talked about how addicted we were to our phones, and now they're talking about their phones and it became a thing, but I see more socialization. One of my daughters, my twins, that they bring one of their friends comes to Run Club now. They want to do the duathlon and want to do events from seeing it. So I think that they're more interested in seeing community stuff now. And so whether it's their own sports team or clubs in the community, I think they're more open to it by it being modeled in the community.
Yeah. So what are your kids into? What do they like to do?
So my twins, they ran. I coached for one season of Girls on the Run. My girls love running, so they love doing local races. They ran for the school for a few years. Basketball is the big one for my twins. They're 5'8". They always wanted to be tall. They were bigger than me, so it's great for basketball season. I'm excited. They also love going to the gym. They love doing Peloton workouts with me. They'll go on the bike. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's a lot to manage too, then, at least if they're both doing basketball, that's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But I mean, to manage all of those schedules and too, kind of crazy. You have done a lot of really cool things, right? So let's stay on the athletic side, then we'll talk business side. But on the athletic side, what do you see as your accomplishments and what are you just most proud of?
Probably just the whole journey of becoming a runner, but going from someone who didn't see myself as becoming a runner to becoming a Boston qualifier was huge. When the day that happened, I did not think that was ever in the cards for me. So that was huge. And then the Ironman, which you coached me for, and helping me do that and balance it with my work life was amazing. And the Ironman for me, when I signed up for it, I knew after doing 10 marathons, like I knew that I had the grit to do it. Yeah. But there was a point in the race when I didn't think I was going to finish it. And that point was when I started the marathon that I thought it was done. And actually my running club, they had given me little Post-its filled out with words of inspiration for when I was tired. So my daughters read that to me. And then that race, there's 3 different loops in the marathon. And each time I would run to my daughters and be like, I'm going to quit. I'm done. I can't do it. And I'd see them and they'd say, Mom, you're so strong. You got this. Yeah. And I was like, okay, like go back. And then I'd come back and I'm like, I'm going to tell them I quit. And then they'd be like, you got this. And then when I finally got to mile 20 and realized it was going to happen. And then when I crossed it and it was just... yeah, it's pretty amazing, right? It was amazing. And I think that's the kind of thing that you want other people to feel that. And it doesn't have to be an Ironman. Mm-hmm. It could be a 5K. Yeah. Right. But just that feeling of accomplishment and the feeling of like, you got through those mental barriers. Yeah. And that's the huge part of it, because a lot of us can train for the physical side of it, but it's that mental side. And it's the same thing in the working world, right? Mm-hmm. So what have been your major accomplishments and what are you proudest of there? I've been very fortunate I had switched to real estate. I'd been a business owner for many years and I switched to real estate and I've kind of branded myself. I realized I was spending so much time with my running club and so much time with it. And I realized I needed to polarize them and kind of marry the two. Mm-hmm. And I've kind of branded myself as a running realtor, and it's been huge and it's been great because a lot of clients are people I work with that it's very organic. I was surprised we had our G-Car conference the other day and it was an annual meeting. There's over 4,000 members and I got the Shining Star Award for my community service through running. And so it was great. Which is huge, right? Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, to be recognized and not having been in the industry for long. Yeah. Like, yeah, you're going to change the way people view it and what they can and should do. I try to be there to like encourage them. Yeah, and I listened to that, the intro before you were actually given the award. And you said you spend 25 hours a week volunteering. A month, but yeah. Well, still 25 hours a month? Probably more than that. More, I would say more than that, based on knowing your schedule. Yeah. But yeah, it's important to me. It's important to have that sense of community. I know what it's like to not have it, and I want to offer that place for other people because I know how much it can change your life, and I know that running is life-changing. It's not just about getting to the race and getting to the medal. It's about realizing that you use those same tools in life, those working one step at a time, and it's okay to have a setback, but you have people with you that support you, and that is life-changing, and I think it helps us have so much resilience and passion and hope, and that just trickles to everywhere in our life. Well, and I think that's one of the valuable things about the Girls on the Run program, right? Because it introduces girls at a younger age to that. And to be able to see them go through. And a lot of the girls that go through that program end up at some point running. You know, they may not run right away, but a lot of them, you know, I see they end up on a high school team or beyond. Yeah. So that's super exciting. I love how they combine the socio-emotional skills into that, and you know, respect and making tough choices, and the two that really go hand in hand. Well, because I think you probably see it too a lot on the runs when you're out with people. People talk about everything on the run. Yeah. Right? So it's not just you're getting exercise, but it's like a counseling session half the time, or it's an educational session because somebody's dealing with something and they talk about how they got to the end of that, and everybody learns as a result. Yeah. So I think a lot of people don't really realize that. And I think there's always a lot of people who are like, well, I don't know anyone and I don't really want to go do that. And I don't know, everybody's going to be faster than me. So how do you tell people when they come back at you with reasons like that they're not going to come to one of your runs? What do you say? I tell them there's a pace in place for everyone that we have, for whether you're a walker, whether you're an ultramarathoner and Boston qualifier. We have something for everyone. I've really tried to encourage more walkers to come, and we have a pretty good base of that. So if you want to go walk, especially if someone's injured, that's another thing too, is if they're injured, they lose their sense of community. But you can usually walk too. So we have, you know, from walkers to if you're running a 12 to 14 minute pace, or, you know, 12 and 8 to 10. So if, whatever it is, we have something for everyone. So I never want people to feel left out. We keep our runs conversational. We do stop sign selfies. We have social hours after. It's a really big community thing. And because we have all those social things, and we do snacks after, we do like ice pops in the summer and fruit snacks, and we'll do themed runs. We just did a great scavenger hunt one at one point. And so just having things to just build at, these relationships they form and they become like very strong relationships because they're very organic.
Yeah.
And they're also, people are in their more natural self. They're not trying to impress anyone. When you're out there dying and sweating, you're pretty humble. Yeah.
Exactly. When we talk about the Run for Women, we get a lot of people who say, I can't walk 3 miles. What do you say? Somebody says, I can't walk 3 miles.
Yet.
Yeah. I think it's frustrating. It's sad to me that a lot of people, and yeah, there are people that literally can't. So that's fine. I get that. But there are a lot of people that just want to say, I can't, because that's their way out. And I do think that people need to be prioritizing that. I mean, you obviously prioritize your health, and that has now benefited other areas of your life. And so how do you communicate that to people? Like I say, when you get involved with running, it builds your confidence, and then that spills out into other places. Do you ever counsel people that way?
Yeah. And I tell them, that I at one point was the same person who I didn't think there were certain things I can do, and that, you have to challenge yourself a little and meet where you're at, but just take those little milestones. I had done a training program for people in recovery this summer, and they couldn't run 30 seconds at a time. And by recently, one just ran a half marathon. Wow. And that was from June to now.
So recovery from?
For people with alcohol and substance abuse. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So using those same tools and running to work through it. And a lot of people need to replace, the addiction. Exactly. You want to be, something, so it's something new to obsess about. And a lot of them said, the money that I used to spend on alcohol, I'm now spending on race fees. That was really cool.
And it's okay. A lot of people do have like an addictive personality. It's like, let's just change that focus, right? Yeah. But you can make it good. Now, I would say sometimes people do too much.
Yeah.
Right? How are you balancing because you do have that. You have that want to like go and keep getting challenges out there. How do you make sure, because you do stay injury free, so how are you making sure that you really are truly taking care of yourself and not overdoing it?
I think, especially as I've gotten older and have gone through more injuries, I had to learn the hard way. Mm-hmm. The things that everyone says, don't do this or this. I have a great physical therapist. Thankfully, I haven't seen him in a while. Yeah. But yeah, I just, I have to be focused on the long-term goal. Like when I want to keep going, if I do this, it's going to take from that goal. So I have to be mindful of it. And I have to be mindful, especially, getting older, that I need to add more yoga and stretching in. I need to add more strength in. And now even I'm trying to get together with some of my other, friends from my run club so that we can all do that together. And entering the tri community too has been like, okay, we can bike together, we can swim together. So using different modalities is also.
Yeah, because it's that whole cross training, right?
Yeah.
So that and then you start to realize like, wow, I don't have to do as much running because I am doing the biking and the swimming. And so it balances it all out. I just think you're super inspiring. But it's also because you're just super fun. And so I do think that's a huge reason that you've built such an engaging community. How do you deal with that, right? Because people expect you to show up with your energy, and you got to have those days where you're like, I just don't want to talk to anybody. I don't even want to be here. I'm tired. How do you handle that?
I try to prioritize my rest, but I will say that I always think about when I get there. I always know that I always leave happier. So it's kind of like when you're tired and you don't want to set off the alarm and you're like, oh, I want to hit snooze, but you're like, I know I'm going to feel better when I do the workout. I know that when I have my run clubs or I have these things, I know that the energy and the love and the connection that I get from that is going to make it worth it. So it's just sometimes, just like with any workout, it's sometimes just getting out the door. Sometimes it's lacing it. It's the same principles.
So that is kind of nice because then that gets you to that point where you're like, yeah, okay, now I feel better. And so it's all good. Yeah.
And one of the things now too, as it's gotten bigger, is delegating, knowing, the pace groups, like, hey, who can cover the pace groups now? Delegating things now has become really important to me at this point.
So how many people do you typically have?
Depends. We can have summertime, usually 30 to 50 plus runners on average. Yeah. So, and our morning ones are averaging about 20, depending on the weather and if, there's a race the weekend before and maybe people are recovering. But it's pretty good size.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you've been to the Run for Women. What does that event mean to you, and the fact that it is all women? What does that mean? Especially growing up with all brothers.
Yes, yeah. To me, especially with my 3 girls too, it's the one race that we definitely do every year. One time my mom did it, so we had 3 generations, and she had been a smoker for 20 years and did it. But to be in that environment full of other women just supporting and encouraging each other, whether they're walking, they're running, everyone has their own goals, but to be supported by that and having the guys on the sideline cheering them on, it's just one of the most inspiring, amazing races of the year. And thank you so much for all the work you do for it, because it's the best.
It is. So when people, because we do get people who say, well, I don't want to do it. What would you say to somebody who says, well, I'm not an athlete and I don't race. I don't like racing. I don't want the competition. Why would that be a good 5K for them to try?
I think because you have the camaraderie when you do something like that. You may not want to be, to push it, to race, to go fast, but just to go do it with someone else, join a sister, join a girlfriend, join a friend, just to be having that community is going to be so rewarding in itself. So I think just for that, to support each other. And it's funny how we can do more things when we're doing it for others than we do for ourselves sometimes. Especially women, we can be very selfless. Yes. We're always giving out. So if we can do that and do it with others, we all kind of lift each other. So.
I think, and that's something that I love that you just said is lifting each other up, because we used a phrase for our high school running this season, which was Chen Chen Sway. And that's what it was. Lift each other up. It's in Squamish. And I heard it off of a talk from a Canadian Olympian. And it is like, if you all get together and do stuff, you rise up. So I think that's one thing that is hard to communicate to people, that once you hit the start line, you will get to the finish line just because of the people around you.
Yep.
Because when you're not feeling good, and everybody has that at some point over 3.1 miles, somebody around you is going to go, well, come on, I'll go with you. Like, stop walking. Let's run this little bit here. And, you kind of get that, and it pulls you and lifts you. And yeah, so I do think too, you said, women don't put themselves and their health first. And so again, how else can we encourage women to do that?
I think just tell them, just give it a try, give it a go, I think if they just take the initial sign up in something, I think we're so quick, women, to say that I can't do this, or think that they're not enough. Like you were saying, thinking they're not fast enough, thinking that we could put so many limiting beliefs on it. So I think you need to turn it on to why not?
Right.
Have them give a reason why, and think of maybe someone else they could do it for. But I think that a lot of women just limit themselves.
Kind of like that. You might be onto something there with do it for someone else. Maybe that's a challenge that we put out this year for don't do it for yourself. Who are you going to do this event for? Right? Because by doing it, you are going to help other people. So you could do it to honor somebody, or you could do it for your kids because you want to be there, or you could do it for your parents because you want to be able to help them and be there for them.
Yeah. And I think, as most women know, as you get to a certain point, I've had this conversation so many times, their husbands, their kids, or someone will be like, go for the run, mom. Once you have that in your life, they know that you are a much better mom or person, wife, friend, anything if you go for the run. There's those times when we're just if you don't get that run, you're not. So do it for yourself. I mean, it's for your body, it's for your mental health, it's an investment in your future, your long-term health, and be grateful for it. What I always do is I'm always grateful for it. I'm, say that I'm thankful that I'm able to do this. I'm thankful if there's a race, I say, I'm thankful that there's a race. I'm thankful there's volunteers. I'm thankful there's people here. And just having that, practicing gratitude through it, I think is a really important life lesson.
Yes, I love that too. Yeah, because that's super important. And I think when you do that, then your kids see that too. How much do you think you're being active over your kids growing up? Because you got one getting ready to go out and fly free. But, how much do you think that impacts them and their own confidence and their feeling like what they can do?
I think it's impacted them because they can see like the goal setting and the grit that gets there, that it's not just the finish line. They see all the work, even the ugly parts of the race to the finish line. And my daughter actually was asking her these questions when I drove her in today, and I'm giving her credit for it.
Yeah.
She's like saying, yeah, she goes, I said, by watching you, I saw that anything is possible. And I said, you stole that from Iron Man.
I know. But if she did see that,
Yes,
right,
yeah.
that it's true. And she saw you struggling through there. And so they know it's not easy, that it's like you have to work mentally through it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they know physically, oh gosh, mom goes out and does that stuff all the time. So that's not all of it.
Yeah, it's hard, and it's like, you have to focus on the other things, the nutrition and prioritizing and, making time. I still, we do dessert all the time. I love my ice cream from Stewart's and my punch card. I'm like, we love that. I'm like, you got to have the balance, and teaching them that it's not all or nothing. It's balance, it's consistency, and working towards it. And that applies everywhere. So don't burn yourself out. Don't think like a lot of women do like the yo-yo dieting. It's like they think it's all or nothing. I used to do that for years too. And it's like, no, it's about consistency. It's about giving yourself grace. And that's with our training and everything too. You can't just
I know, and I do think like you're bringing up such wonderful points, but it's true, right? It's like it's the moderation. But if running and being active can teach someone that, how phenomenal, because we do get all the pressures from society of like, well, even with the fad workouts, like it's not just that. It's like you got the fad diets, you got the fad workouts. It's like, no, moderation, consistency, just be smart about it and you'll come out way ahead.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. So we have what we're calling Final Kick, which are just some questions that we're asking everybody. So it'll be fun to see everybody's different answers. The first one is, it's really challenging, your favorite post-run snack.
Oh, it's lately been actually Core Power. I've been really into Core Power. I feel like it's quick. I used to do smoothies with the Renaud's. It's getting too hard. Core Powers, I'm at Stewart's way too much on the go with work, and I'm just 42 grams of protein down the hatch.
Yes, that's perfect, though, because you're getting your protein in, you're getting a little bit of sugars in to replenish and stuff. So you have Renaud's?
Yes.
So how do you deal with that? Because a lot of people have it, and I had terrible time with it for a few years. Fingers crossed, I hasn't been bad recently. Like in the past 5 years, it used to get so bad I couldn't open doors.
Yeah. It's right now I'm really struggling, so I might need to get some of your tips. I do beet juice. I add into it. For my hands, I'm just always trying to make sure they're warm before I put hot hands in, and I wear socks. Actually, socks are better than gloves.
Mittens are the best because it breathes and and I found also keeping your core warm.
Yeah.
That really helps, because if my core gets cold, never mind. My feet still get very, very cold, but I don't have the going white. So
yes,
a lot of women deal with that.
Especially for women, like I find, like if I go to my social stuff after my runs, the wet sports bra on your skin is the worst. Have a towel to put under or a change of a sports bra after, because that is, even without Renaud's.
And wet socks
bra,
like it's the same thing, because that you'll get cold and then boom, gone. Yeah, awesome advice. Your favorite way to recover?
Oh gosh, I'm trying yoga.
Okay.
That's maybe, I'm really bad at recovery.
I know, but you do understand how important it is. So that's, and I think that's true of a lot of people, right? So, it's finding those ways. Like maybe you do have to do a little bit of Netflix, because that will make you put your feet up.
Just leg things on.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, final question would be favorite workout or your favorite place to work out?
Ooh, favorite place to work out, Saratoga State Park, hands down. It's where I've done most of my living.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
And you do great videos there too.
Thank you.
So yes, if people don't know about the park, they can, which leads us into, how can people get in touch with you? They want to buy a house, they want to sell a house, they want to get involved with the I Run group. How do they get in touch with you?
Through social media is probably the easiest way. My website is jesssells518.com. And through Jessica Hauprich on any of my sites. And then I have the I Run Social is the name of the one on Facebook and Instagram for updates on there. And then, yes.
Awesome. That's perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming and doing this. You got even more other exciting stuff coming up in the year. So we'll probably have to do another session with you to get into all that and rally people. But thank you for joining us today. As we close, what you do next matters the most. So let's all get out there and be fitter.